And the Japanese government is stepping up the emergency response to Monday's earthquake, which is now known to have killed at least 64 people. The Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida, announced that the number of military personnel involved would be doubled to 2,000. But that was our correspondent, Tawari, there speaking to us a little bit earlier. Well, the president of Harvard University has announced her resignation. Claudine Gay. Now, just to remind you of our top story, the Hamas deputy leader, Saleh al-Aruri, has been killed in a blast in Beirut. We'll have all the latest details on that coming up next. Do stay with us here on BBC News. This is BBC News, your headlines. Now, I just want to take you to some live pictures in Guildford, actually, where the Lib Dem archaeologists have unearthed a rare medieval cemetery not far from the end of the Cardiff Airport runway. At least 70 graves have been found, and they're thought to date back to the 6th or 7th. Around 10,000 homes in England and Wales are still without electricity after storm. A vigil has been held at a park in northeast London in memory of a 16-year-old. It's estimated that at least 1 million young carers in the UK need to spend 50 hours. And we'd love to hear from you on this story, as we know so many of you have your own caring responsibilities, and you can get in touch with us in all the usual ways. Thanks for being with us here on BBC News. Now, 2023 was the most successful year for female musicians in the UK. The founder of the kids' company charity, Camilla Batman-Gaelish, has died at the age of 61. The government says pupils in schools in England, which are partially closed because of dangerous concrete known as rack, won't get extra help in their exams. Some science and technology students have had to change courses after being unable to access workshops, labs and equipment since September. Our education correspondent Hazel Shearing has more. Live from London, this is BBC News. Hello and welcome, I'm Luxmy Gopal. Lebanon's government has accused Israel of trying to ignite conflict across the Middle East after a senior Hamas leader was killed by... Well, in Gaza, Israel's military continues its campaign with shelling and airstrikes of residential areas. The army also said it raided a... Well, let's turn to events in the UK now. Junior doctors working in England's public health services have started a 6-day strike. The doctors in England, an average rise of 8.8%. But medics said the increase wasn't enough to address pay erosion over the past 15 years. There were further talks at the end of the year, but they failed to reach an agreement. Junior doctors in Wales are planning a 72-hour walkout from the 15th of January, while doctors in training in Northern Ireland are voting on potential strike action. Those in Scotland have already reached an agreement with the Scottish Government. Well, Dr Vivek Trivedi, who's co-chair of the BMA Junior, the BBC website around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News. Well, now to look at some other stories making the news. The government is stepping up the emergency response to Monday's earthquake, which is now known to have killed at least 64. Stay with us here on BBC News. Thanks for being with us here on BBC News. I'm Luxmy Gopal. Well, let's turn to politics now. And the leader of the Liberal Democrats, Ed Davey, has been campaigning. Now it's time for a look at your weather forecast. Here's Matt Taylor.